In the last section, we built our add post component. In this section, we'll set up our post.js component, and this will be our main form. This will display all the posts to the users. So let's begin by creating a file called post.js in our blog directory, and we can start with our usual imports. And we'll be displaying all our posts in a table, so let's import all the different pieces of the table we need from Material UI. And then let's set up our post class as an empty div. And now we can begin setting it up. Let's first start with a header of posts, and we'll wrap everything in a paper. And this will give it a nicer overall look than if we didn't use this and just had a table. And inside the table, we'll start off with the table head, and these are just the headings we have for our table. So the first heading is obviously going to be title, which will be in a row and in a table cell. And we're not going to put a heading for the body of the post, because I think most people will understand if they see the title heading, they'll understand the body of the post as well. And after this, we can now declare our table body. And the table body is going to be what actually contains the posts. And since we're going to be getting these posts from a database, let's set up our usual map state to props function. And let's declare a property called post, and then let's set it to state.postReducer.post. And remember, this post is coming from our post reducer that we set up in the previous sections. In this piece of state is what actually contains all of our posts. And since it's an asynchronous operation, let's do a ternary expression. So this.props.post, and then if post is present, then use the map function on the array. And then each post will be its own table row. So let's set up a separate render post function to render each post. So const render post, and then this is going to take a argument of post. And then we start with a table row, and then inside each table row is going to be a table cell. And let's first start off with the title, so post.post.title. And we'll actually make the title a link, because in our main form, if a user clicks on the title of a post, they should be taken to that individual post. And then inside the to property of the link element, we can do path name equal to post/plus post.post.pid. And this will ensure that each post has a unique URL. And then as a second argument, we can do state, and then we can pass in the entire posts. And this will allow us to access the post information in the show post component. And next, we also need the post body. So we do post.post.body, and we can wrap it in a paragraph tag. And we're done setting up this render post functional component. So let's now declare it in our render method. So just do render post, and then remember, we also need the key since this is an array. So we set the key equal to post.pid. And we also need to pass in the post, so it's going to be post equals post. And for our else statement, we can just do null. Now let's set up our Axios request that will be used to actually retrieve the post from the database. And we'll need to use this in the component did mount lifecycle method, since we want this done automatically when the user renders this component. So inside the component did mount method, we do axios.get /API/get/all posts, since this is an API request to our Express server. And then we do a .then call. And inside we do a arrow function with the res, which is the response. And we need to save the response in the Redux state. So let's do that now. Let's set up our map dispatch to props function. So let's name the property set post, and then we do an arrow function post, because this is what the response will be, an array of posts. And then we do dispatch actions.fetch db post. And after setting it up, we can now use it in our .then statement. So we do this.props.set db post, and we do, remember, rest.data, because the entire response object is more than just the array of posts. It includes the headers and other properties that we don't need to use. So to access just the array of posts, we do rest.data. And then after that, we do the .catch, and then the console.log our error. And this is all we need to retrieve our posts from the database. So we went a little fast setting up the component. Let's see and fix any bugs or mistakes we made. And yes, the key for a render post functional component should be posts.pid, not posts/pid. And also our fetch db post should be lowercase in the map dispatch to props method. And our argument for render post should be just post, not post. And same thing in the h4 title, it should be post.post, not posts. And we also need map dispatch to props passed into our connect function. And finally, we need a way to access the add post component that we set up in the last step. So we'll include a add post button, but we'll wrap the entire button in a link. This will make the entire button clickable. If we didn't wrap it in a link, but we wrap the link in a button, the entire button will not take the user to a new link. So we can just set it up like so, and we're done. That's it. This is all we need to do to set up our main forum.